Hi everyone, welcome to the Honeybee Knits podcast. I know that it's been a while and it's kind of hard to get back into the swing of things when I've taken such a long break from podcasting. First I want to say please excuse the lighting today. I am trying something new. I am podcasting in my front room, which has been newly renovated. It's not completed yet, and as a result I don't have blinds, so the afternoon sun is coming directly in this side window and hitting me in the side of the head, so we'll see how this goes. But second of all, I want to say that this particular video, which you probably know from the title, is exclusively to talk about knit-alongs and giveaways. Giveaways for the past that need to be announced, and then knit-alongs coming up in the new year, which there's a lot of exciting ones. So if you are looking for more of the knitting content that includes whips, finished objects, acquisitions, that kind of thing, you're going to want to look for the other videos. However, if you participated in any of our calls or are interested in joining any of our calls in the new year, then this is the video for you. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in because I have to take a break in about 20 minutes to run with my husband down to Mason, which is like an hour away, and when I get back I will finish recording, but I'm hoping to get this video finished before then. So our first giveaway is the November sock knit along, and I believe that I already drew a winner for that knit along. However, I couldn't remember if I did for sure or not, and I received quite a few packages to give away from indie dyers and bag makers and things like that in my hiatus, so I decided to go ahead and draw a new winner. I'm pretty sure I drew Laura from Knit for Brains last month, or for the November sock knit along, but I went ahead and drew a second winner, and that winner is Miss Bossy Pants, and she was number 19. There were 37 entries, and her name is Jennifer, and she is from Minnesota. So congratulations, Jennifer. If you please send me your address on Ravelry, I will get you the package out in the mail. I had previously shown this package on my last podcast. However, I had decided not to send that to the first winner, Laura, because the bag that was included was actually one of Laura's bags. So I sent her something different. So you will be receiving that package. If you want to see what you want, go check out my last podcast. The second knit along that we have to announce is the December sock knit along. And look like I've got a unibrow. What's going on with that, guys? I don't have a unibrow. Anyway, we'll try to ignore that. So the second knit along is the December sock knit along, and we had, again, 37 entries, so you guys are pretty consistent with knitting your socks. And the winner of that is Stephanie from Missouri. So congratulations, Stephanie. I believe your Ravelry username is Stitchin' Steph. So if you could go out and on Ravelry and send me your address, I'll send the package out to you in the mail. One thing I did want to say is I have not shown your package, so it will be a complete surprise. I think it could have been in my last video, now that I think about it. I don't know. Go check it out and see. But if not, it'll be a surprise to you. But I will just say, with all of my giveaways, I normally try to include a bag, a skein of yarn, and some sort of notion or sweet treat, or both. So that gives you a good idea of what you'll be getting. So the next, my husband's working from home, and if you hear yelling at the cats or sneezing or coughing or laughing, it's because he's in his office, which is right around the corner and down the stairs. So that would be why. I apologize for any of those extra noises. But anyway, the second or the third knit along news that we have is for the mystery knit along. So this knit along was for those of you who are mystery knit along obsessed like I am. So if you knit a mystery or crocheted a mystery knit along item, then you could enter it into my knit along as like double points. And we as double entries, so we had 7 posts, and the winner of that is number 7. So I pulled a random number from 2 through 8, and the winner was number 7, which is the Zercha on Ravelry. And she didn't have her name, or he didn't have their name on Ravelry, but they are from Croatia. So if your a Ravelry ID is the Zercha and you're from Croatia, send me a message. I'm going to send you a package. And let me know your address, which is just really fun because I've never sent a package to Croatia, and I don't know that I know anybody from there, so that's pretty interesting. So I was really excited to pull that name. So congratulations. Let's see. The next knit along, I actually have not chosen winners for yet, only because I have to do some calculations, and that is our Stash Down 2017 thread. So if you were a part of this knit along, basically you put in your starting total of how much yarn you had in your stash that you wanted to include. You subtracted how much you've used, how much you've gifted, how much you've sold, and then you've added how many that you've purchased. At the end of the year, we have 2 winners. We have the biggest loser, which is the person that has gotten rid of the most stash out of their yarn. So they were the biggest loser, like, you know, biggest loser. Oh, you lost a bunch of weight. Well, you lost a bunch of yarn. So we have that prize. And then we also have the failed prize, which basically is the person that added the most stash. I have to go through and calculate numbers because it's going to be based on percentages, not actual skein size, because I know not everybody's stash is the same. So once I do that, I will announce a winner probably on the next podcast. I am going to try to do weekly. I really am. However, it may be bi-weekly. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye out for that if you were involved in that. And I also want some feedback from you guys, and I'll mention this on the regular podcast as well. Did you guys enjoy the Stash Down knit along? And the reason why I ask is because I'm going to be doing a year-long knit along called Whip It Thursday. If you'll recall, I co-hosted that with Levi from WTF Knitting last year, and I'm actually bringing it back this year as a yearly thing with prizes drawn every quarter. So I am thinking with that knit along going on, our yearly sock knit along, and then the other knit alongs thrown in, that might be enough. But if you really got motivated from the Stash Down, and that's one of your goals that you want to work on for 2018, then let me know and I will continue the Stash Down 2018 knit along. Just let me know if that's something that you're interested in the comments below. So, that is it for Stash Down 2017. So I mentioned I'm doing the Whip It Thursday knit along, where every Thursday you work on a new whip. Every Thursday you work on a new whip. Not necessarily a new whip, but something that a languishing whip that you've had around the house for a while that you want to finish, you don't want to frog it, but for some reason it's just always on the back burner when it comes to knitting. If you're like me, you're a very distracted knitter. You cast on something and you love it and you get about halfway through and then something bright and shiny and new comes along and you abandon ship for that new bright and shiny project. So that is the reason for Whip It Thursday. The idea is that every Thursday you work solely on your languishing whip, and we are going to do that as a year-long knit along this year. So we will have a chatter thread, we will have an FO thread, and every quarter I will draw for prizes from both threads. I wanted to show you guys, and I'll show this on my normal podcast too, but this is the whip I am going to start with this week. And this is my advantageous, or maybe it's adventurous. I don't know. What am I talking about? I don't know. Wrap. And again, my lighting is kind of crappy today. But this is out of Arkansas Yarn Co. Yarn in her Sparkle Base. And this was her advent calendar. This is yarn from her advent calendar. And I had I never really did well at keeping up with this in December. I would get caught up and then I would fall behind again until eventually I got about halfway through the month and I had messed up because I didn't read the directions properly. And so now I have to write back the blue. I don't know if you can see the blue in there, but I have to write back the blue. And once I do, I'll be back on track and almost finished with piece 1. It is knit into 2 pieces. So this is the one that I want to focus on for the first couple weeks of Whip It Thursday. So I'm solely going to be working on this on Thursday. It doesn't mean that if I get back into it and I really love it, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to knit on it any other day. It just means that on Thursdays, this is what I'm knitting. So also, I went through and I counted my whips, and I didn't include vanilla socks in this count because vanilla socks are things that I always need on the needles for if I'm on the go or if I need something mindless or brainless to do, if my husband and I are watching a movie or something. Those are my go-to project. So I don't count those as languishing whips because they're not something that they're not a product that I have to have done. I have plenty of hand knit socks to keep me company. They're just something I want done, and they're kind of like that brainless knitting project. So keep that in mind. But after counting my whips, including the socks, I have about 35 whips, which is a lot. So I took all my shawl, mitten, I have shawls, mittens, I have like non-vanilla socks, so cabled socks. I took all those whips, and I stole this idea from somebody, so don't think that it's my original idea. Somebody on Instagram who has a book account, so their Instagram is solely for the purpose of doing book reviews. They had done this last year where they took all of the books that they wanted to read for 2018, or most of them, and they wrote it on a piece of paper, they put it in a jar, and they, when they were ready to pick up a new book, they would draw the name of that book. And basically this just kept them on track because I feel like I said before, if you're a distracted knitter, such as I am, you tend to gravitate towards certain projects, and the ones that you want done, but you want the finished object, but you don't want to spend the time on it, those tend to get left behind. So what I did is I created a whip jar. It just says Melissa's Whip Jar. And I put all of the shawls, the non-vanilla socks, and mittens that I have on the go in this jar, minus my Advent wrap, because I'm going to work on that first, and minus my current projects, project for our What You Knitting kit in KAL, which I will talk about in a minute, minus those. And so when I finish my Advent wrap, what I'll do is I'll shake it up, put my hand in, draw out a slip, and this doesn't count. This isn't the next project that I'm going to be working because this is just for demonstration purposes. But I finished my Advent wrap. It's a Thursday and I need a new whip to work on. So I drew Outlander shawl. So I would go upstairs, I would find out which of the million project bags my Outlander shawl is on, and I would work on that. So it's just a way to make sure that I'm making progress on some of those older whips that I want the finished objects. Really sorry about the glares. I want the finished objects from, but I don't necessarily want to work on them. So it's just an idea for those of you that are in the same boat as next knit along. And I had mentioned this is the What You Knitting kit in KAL, and this is co-hosted by Allie from Miss Allie Makes and Levi from WTF Knitting, as well as myself. And we are basically, we have not decided on an end date yet. I don't know if it's going to be 30 days. I don't know if it's going to be 2 months, 3 months. I'm not sure. We'll talk about it and let you guys know for sure. But Basically, you just knit any Stephen West pattern, any of his patterns, and you can enter it into our KAL. It has to be cast on after January 1st. If you cast it on before January 1st and it's a whip, you most certainly can enter it. Just make sure that it's like less than 50% done. You just actually need to be able to actively work it during the knit along. We're not sticklers, we're not going to check, we go by the honor system, but just try to be honest about it. That's all we ask. So and I will show you my shawl on the regular podcast, so make sure you go out to take a look at that. But anyway, it has officially started, so if you are interested in joining us in our journey, make sure to go out and get your yarn and your pattern and cast on and start working on those Stephen West patterns. I am making the Exploration Station out of Honeybee Knits yarn, and I'm really excited to show that to you. So check out my podcast, my regular podcast, to see that. I did cast it on last night. So I think... And my battery's dying, of course. Seems like a good place to end this. I think that is it for this video. If you are interested in seeing the projects that I've been working on, the acquisitions I've received, or some book talk, make sure you check out some of my other videos. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!